I love new stuff. Gavin Gear here from UltimateReloader.com. I've got something new and something awesome to show you in this video. It's called the AR Diamond trigger from TriggerTech. I visited the TriggerTech booth at the SHOT Show this year, and I got to get my hands on one of their demo units, and I thought, this is what I've been looking for. Because I've been working a lot with this 224 Valkyrie Precision Long-Range AR-15 that I built, and it's got a Geissele Automatics DMR high-speed match trigger in it, which is a 3 to 5 pound trigger. That works great. But I thought, wouldn't it be nice to get that trigger pull weight down just a little bit for this precision long-range shooting? Now, all the while, the Remington 700 224 Valkyrie rifle has been running a TriggerTech special. My first experience with TriggerTech, and I have been very, very pleased. I've got a full write-up on that one that uses the same TriggerScan system to completely profile the force distance graph, and I've got a lot of stories that demonstrate the capabilities of that rifle. .3 MOA rifle, it's just an absolute tack driver. Love it, love the whole package. Now I'm ready to do the same kind of upgrade for the AR-15, and this AR Diamond trigger I think is going to get me where I need to go. It's got the same underlying design criteria and technology. It's got the frictionless release technology, which basically takes what would normally be sliding surfaces, like 2 sliding plates for the sear engagement, and it replaces that with essentially a roller. It's also designed to have minimal creep, which makes the perception of the trigger pull weight about a ½ pound less than it actually is. And finally, it's got minimal over travel. But I'm not just going to talk to these things, we're going to put it on the TriggerScan. Here's the plan. We're going to run the Geissele Automatics trigger on the TriggerScan. I'll go through the drop-in upgrade. It's a monolithic unit, which is really nice. Set it in place and push the pins through. We're going to put it back on the TriggerScan at max pull weight and min pull weight, and I think I'm going to run it at min pull weight, and then we'll go out to the range to see how I like it actually shooting some rounds. So let's get to it. Okay, so I've already got the TriggerScan set up. I ran a couple tests to make sure that everything was settling in. Each time we go to run a new test, we're going to go pull back on the rifle, cycle the bolt, make sure that everything is completely settled in together. That's going to be the key to getting a consistent result. Make sure that we have an active test, ready the unit, and then hit go. Now we're going to see an actual graph of force over the distance that this motorized load cell is pulling the trigger over. Okay, so that's one test. We've got another test number 2 here automatically. We're going to go ahead and cycle the bolt, make sure that we're bottomed out. Ready, and run. Okay, and I'm going to click new test here. The third time you actually have to create a new test manually, I've found. All right, cycle the bolt, pull everything back, make sure it's bottomed out, and hit go third time. As you can see, things are overlapping very nicely, very consistent results. So we've got about 3.3 pounds peak force, and our over travel is about 51 thousandths of an inch. So that concludes the testing for the Geissele Automatics trigger. Let's go ahead and look at the upgrade for the AR Diamond, and then we're going to run these tests again. So let's take a look at what's in the box. I'm just going to slip off the top here. There's this little open tab that's actually labeled. Gotta love that. And then we have a little thank you. The trigger, I'll pull off this carton here. Looks like we've got a tactical patch kind of a thing. A couple Allen keys, our diamond sticker, very nice, and then the instruction booklet. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is to pop the takedown pins. The takedown pin and the pivot pin, and remove the upper from the lower. Okay, next I'm going to remove the grip so that we can get the fire control lever, aka safety, out of the way of the trigger. So we're going to want to pull back the hammer, and then we can lift the safety up and out of the way. Now I'm going to switch over to my bench block, and we're just going to use a very tiny hammer and a very little bit of force to kind of wrap these pins out here, okay? So I've got one pin out. Okay. Pull the hammer out. And then, again, we're going to make sure that we're kind of over the hole there. Pop over the other pin to the other side. Okay, heard that fall out. Now we can lift the rest of the trigger up and out. Okay, so I gave the innards of the lower a quick wipe down. Now we can take the trigger assembly and remove the screw that is essentially there for shipping purposes. Okay, got the screw out. All right. Now we can drop the trigger in and see how it's going to fit. Okay, looks like our holes are going to line up just fine. Okay, next we're going to put in the rear pin, which is going to help us install the safety. I'm just going to put the alignment tool in the front there to make sure that everything is rotated correctly. And then we're going to see if we can persuade this pin to go through. Feels like that's aligning pretty well. Okay, we're nice and flush. So now we'll take the safety and put that in. Okay, and then the front pin. Don't want to force anything. We want to make sure everything is going together nice and smooth. That feels good. We're just going to stop when it's flush. Perfect. After the pins are in, we have a couple important things to do. First is to tighten the snug screws. These are going to keep the trigger from pivoting and rotating in the lower. So this is going to tighten things up and keep everything super solid. Okay, I'm giving those just a little bit of a snug. And this is with one of the two included Allen keys. With the other Allen key, I'm going to crank up the pull weight to the maximum. We're going to start testing there. Okay, that's it. All right, now it's time to put the detent back in. Carefully install the grip so that the spring goes into the detent hole. And then we're going to tighten the grip screw. Now we can actuate the safety. So I'm going to drop in my AccuWedge, which I took out during the trigger install. Then it's just a matter of dropping the upper onto the lower, pushing the pivot pin and takedown pin in, and we are good to go. Okay, so I was probably 2 or 3 clicks too far in, I'm going to say, so I backed it out a couple. Not sure it's going to make a difference. Let's see if there really is a measurable difference here down at the very bottom of the adjustment range. Okay. .674, that did actually make a difference. Okay. And again, we're going to do 3 of these. Wow, very consistent. Extremely consistent. Love it. That's what scientific measurement is all about. One more. Yep, again, overlapping. There we go. Okay, well, there's the tests. So the TriggerScan looks really clean. We actually saw the adjustment range for my trigger in this AR to span from about 1.6 pounds up to about 5 pounds total. So very close to the factory specifications. The real test, however, is how is this going to shoot in the field. So let's do that next. So I thought I would test this Berger 80.5 grain load that's been performing so well in the bolt gun. Haven't had a chance to shoot it here in the AR that I built. But first, let's do a little bit of dry firing. I'm going to hit record here. Okay. All right. So recording at the camera, recording through the scope. Oh, by the way, this is an ATN X-Sight Pro 4K. More on that later. Okay, let's see. I should probably be careful not to shoot my camera. Oh yeah, that's what I've been waiting for. Yeah. Okay. Live fire time. I'm sighted for the Sierra 90 SMK. It'll be interesting to see here if anything happens with our point of impact. Okay, let's go for upper left. Wow, significantly more recoil without the brake. That's actually pretty surprising. Okay. That's too low now. There we go. Okay. Crank up the magnification here. Wow. Yeah, a lot more recoil. A lot more recoil without the brakes. So I got to put a brake on this rifle. And I've definitely gotten spoiled with my bolt action 224 Valkyrie. I need to do a lot more practice and get a lot more trigger time here with the AR. But it looks like I have a little bit of a re-zero to do here. And love the trigger. The trigger is absolutely awesome. Let's go back to the shop. Success! The AR Diamond is exactly what I was looking for in an upgrade for this AR-15. I definitely have some more practicing to do to get close to the results that I've had with the bolt action 224 Valkyrie, but that's to be expected. What do you all think of this trigger? Do you think it's cool? Are you going to get one? I would love to hear your feedback, so please drop a comment. Don't forget, I'm going to have a full write-up with more detailed analysis, the full TriggerScan graphs, all that stuff. So you're going to want to check out that first link in the video description. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you don't want to miss any of the action here on GAVIN we're talking about metalworking, gunsmithing, shooting. We got a lot of really awesome stuff coming up. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications. Also, I'm on Patreon, link in the description. I got these cool shirts at the Ultimate Reloader store. Again, link in the description. Until next time, happy shooting and happy reloading. That's it, people. We're done.